Hello and welcome to part 10 of SAP RAP Transactional App Development Managed Scenario. In today's session, we will look into how we can implement validations with the draft functionality. Last uh, session, we have actually implemented the draft functionality for our contact and address. So in today's session, we will try to understand how the validations work and we will try to implement a validation for our associated entity address in this tutorial. With that, let's move on. And the steps that we have to follow as usual would be to define a validation uh, in in any of the entity the same way like what we have seen in our validate address in our validation tutorial. Similarly, the we define a validation here, validation validate address, and then we create a implementation of this method as usual. But before doing that, I always prefer to actually go and create a separate implementation class for each entity. Hence, I have actually gone and created a separate contact contaddr underscore m class specifically to have the implementation done for our address entity. Okay. Once we add this validation with a draft thing, there are certain changes that we will look going ahead when we go into the system. Okay. And how we can implement this address validate address method. Again, if we have to implement it in the behavior pool. Now, this behavior pool will be a local handler class for address separately. LHC address will be created since I have actually used a separate class. The validations would be pretty simple. Read the instances and then loop through that addresses and check. In my case, I'm just checking if the city is blank. We have to fill in the failed and the reported structure as we have seen earlier as well. Remember one thing with draft functionality, the validation will not happen when we add and apply. Rather, it will be happening when we save the contact. The main entity, when it is saved, at that point in time, the validation will occur. Okay. With that, let us now get into the system and see what are the changes that we have to do in order to get the uh, changes done. So let me now go to my Eclipse and we will start the validation to be added. I will show you what changes I have done. So first thing is like in our last session, we have created this spice method we have added because we were using the draft functionality. And as you can see, let me quickly show you uh, the error, the warning that we are getting when we have added it. And if you see these two have a validation name is not assigned to any determination, not even prepare. So whenever we are creating a validation, it has to be assigned to a prepare action. How we do that is it will be always between curly braces, remove this, and then you have to go and add validation. And when you press control space, it will give you all the validations that you have. I will say validation. This we have to add and then validation, my telephone number as well. Now, if you see, I have gone and added a validate name just for you people to see this determine action prepare. Hence, I have gone and created a validate name also in my uh, as a new validation. I could have actually used validate tail also to do that name, but again, it is exactly the same. So what I have done there is again the same thing, read if it is mandatory. I'm just taking the first name and the last name to be mandatory in my thing. I could have gone and added the same thing in my validate tell also, as we have seen during our last session, that in this case you can actually go and add a validate uh, email as well. Okay. Similarly, I have gone and added a different method name. Just wanted to show you that you can have multiple validations created. Now, in this case, you remember the validation, the our validation tutorial, the video that you can see, where if you have more than one validation, we are not sure which validation will be triggered first. So in this scenario, we don't know. Hence, it is always a better idea to have one validation for each entity and have it have all the validations which are for that particular entity. Just wanted to show you in this case that you can actually create multiple validations as well. Similarly, if you see down below for the address entity, now what I am doing is I am just changing, first of all, I am changing the implementation class to a different class. You see contact ADDR, and previously it was contact M. So I have created one more. As soon as I go and change this, it will ask me to create that once activation. I have created this class, and if we go to this class now, we will be this will be created, and once we activate this, it I have just gone and added the validate address as well. Now, validate address again, I have gone and added in our implementation class, as can be seen, same thing. Okay, just uh, read the instances and do the validations. Okay, let me activate this quickly. And when I come back here, now I see there is a warning, validate address is not yet assigned even to any determination, not even prepare. That means we have to go and add this also to remove the warning. Okay. Now, even if we don't add it, it's just a warning. The functionality will still work. Okay. So let me now go to my application and show you how it works. Let me go to the browser and show you what is happening there. Let me refresh this and let us try to first create our one contact. And in this thing, we just go and say, okay, I would be creating Mahendra H. Tata, gender is male, okay, gender is male. Now, date of birth is February 24, 25, 19, say for example 84. Okay, mobile number I will say 12345, only 5 digit, and active. At the same time, I am going and creating the address as well. So now address is Mahendra House, mm, street number 12. City I am not giving. I am giving Maharashtra, or maybe I will say state is Selangor or Kuala Malaysia. Okay, and 11507 is the pin code. Now here you see the draft is updated. Okay, we can just go and apply here. Once we apply here, that will be added here. Now I am going to either create or discard. Discard will just discard the whole thing as we have seen in our draft functionality video, that it will now allow us to go and uh, either discard or it will allow us to create. And you see that it periodically it keeps on updating the draft. Now I am creating one, and at this point in time, the validation will happen, and it says that the telephone number must be 10 characters. Okay, we come here, we say okay, it's a resolve the inconsistency to save the data. Now I'm saying 67890. This is fine. I have still not gone and done this here. So let me just go and say create. And now it has now shown on the sub level as well that the city is mandatory. I can go here and change it, apply, or I can change it here also because I have given this here. So let me give as Kuala Lumpur and try to create this time. And the record will be saved successfully. We come back, and as you can see now, since we were in create, the date of the age is also calculated. Okay, for us, the Mahindra Tata will be shown here. When we go inside this, this will be taken as the city and the state for Mahindra. Okay, I can go and create one more here. If I go and edit this, I can still go and create one more, and I am saying that Sierra Suites floor number 23. Okay, and I will say cities Texas and America, something like that. 505007. Okay, I am again applying it here, and this time since everything is fine, I can still go and save it. So it will save two addresses for Mahindra now. We come back here and we just say go here, and the address for Mahindra is now added as you can see here. Okay, so this is how generally the uh, uh, so this is how generally the application works with validations. Now let me just go into our Eclipse and just add that validation to our determine action. Okay, as you can see, we had this warning here, and the warning says that the validate is not assigned to any determination yet. So how I have kept this because you when you go and say validation, okay, and let me just show you. So when we go and say control space here, you see it is not giving me the validation name for my associated entities. In that case, what I have to do is I have to say address slash. It will not give me the thing. We have to just go and say address and tilde sign, okay, and then take our validation name and give it here, okay. That is how we have to go and do it. Now let me activate this quickly. And if you see now, the activation is in progress and the activation is done. Now the warning for that validation is gone. This warning gender text does not have a mapping because gender text we are not using uh, in our contact detail. It's just a display thing. So this warning doesn't make any difference. But when we come back to our uh, when we come back to our application now, let us go and see the application and let us try to find out what is the impact. There won't be any impact. Now this time let me just go and just try to edit something. Now here let me edit it, and I just remove this city and try to save. It will say that, okay, city is mandatory. Okay, so resolve the inconsistencies and then it will allow me. So I'm saying, okay, city and state here, and I'm trying to save, and now it will be saved properly. Okay, when we come back and go to some other thing, then again come back, go to Stephen, that changed will be stored in our uh, application. Now we have to keep remembering that whenever we are trying to edit anything, if I remove the city here, right, and I try to save, it will show me. But if we come back to our Eclipse now and try to see what is happening for to our um tables, right? Let me go to dictionary database table for address, okay, and try to view the data in data preview. You can see it has got so many records that it has still saved, and this address is added with the because it is now in the draft functionality. Sorry, this is my contact. Where is my draft? D contact them. Yes, this is where I have to go, and it will now show me the address with city as blank there because it is as soon as you go and edit anything, it will be saved to our draft. Okay, let us now come back to our uh, browser and try to save it. As soon as I save it, okay, that city I have to remove, and now I am saying city here this time and save. And when we come back to our Eclipse and try to refresh this data as we have seen previously, okay, as we have seen previously, this will be gone and added to our uh, main table with the city there. Okay, so this is how the complete validation works in case of draft functionality. So with that, I will stop here and request you to please do like, share, and subscribe to my channel uh, so that I can keep creating different videos for you and hope this helps you in your technical ability to learn and grow. With that, thank you and happy learning.